I guess I'm live. Maybe, maybe not. This is a test. So I don't know what the appropriate amount of time is to wait for people to get in here, but I guess I gotta wait a minute. Now, I've got like a setup going on down here where I can kind of keep tabs on a few things. So, you know, don't expect a lot of interaction if you're watching right now, because I don't know what the fuck I am doing in the slightest. Does it look like I know what I'm doing? And I doubt. So would it be so if anyone out there is watching at the moment, please tell your friends. Tell them to stop by. Tell them you don't know what they're going to see, because I don't know what I'm going to talk about at all. Except, first thing I did want to talk about was like, I went to the Walmarts the other day and like I saw me an American Psycho shirt, and they even had this, which was too cool. It's like one of the videotapes. You know how he's like, "Oh, I've got to return some videotapes," and like it's got some cool pins in it. It's got like "Feed Me a Stray Cat," Dorcia, and the cards. Now I know that's the kind of the content you all came here to see, and I remember when I saw the movie for the first time, like, God, what was it, 25 years ago? It came out like right in 2000. And the first time I saw American Psycho, I just didn't get it, because I was a 90s kid and I love the 90s more than anything. So when I saw this movie, it was like pretty much glamorizing the 80s. I was like, ugh, I was repulsed by it at first. I was like, God, get it out of here. And I mean, all the jokes just like kind of flew over my head, even though they weren't exactly like classic jokes or anything like that. But I gave it another shot not too long after that, and then I got it. I mean, I really got it. That's like one of the first movies I ever saw where I really appreciated it on like the second viewing. I wish I would have got it better on the first. Let me get my dirty gloves on. Yeah. So we got that. I have the gloves. Thank God. I know people out there were like, man, is he going to put the gloves on? We gotta know that. We gotta know if there's going to be gloves or not. Is this a gloves on or off stream? The gloves are on, so the kid gloves are on and off at the same time. So, like, anywho, where I have zero clue what I'm doing, my brain is just like kind of all over the map as far as like anything that like I want to talk about or whatever. But like, man, I can't say enough good things about that movie. I wish I could do like a watch along with it with some people, but it's whatever. So like one of the things is like, I guess this is a saturation point stream. It's like yet another dabble verse jack off, like doing like a stream, right? So like, I mean, at this point where everybody claims like, oh, I'm not part of the Dabbleverse. I'm really adjacent. I'm adjacent. I'm outside of the solar system. I guess we may as well just start calling this shit like the adjacent verse. What I thought was kind of funny one time I was watching Ray DeVito, right? And he was saying, it's like, I'm not really part of the Dabbleverse. I'm a Jason. I'm like, no way, sir. If Stuttering John is the sun, like that, like that sound drop, he's like, I'm the sun. If Stuttering John's the sun and Shuley and them is Earth, it's like the other people filling up that space is clearly like, Ray DeVito is Venus, and all the other great shows like MLC and whatnot. So I don't know. I just thought that was funny. It's like, you're clearly a part of this goddamn universe, this weird bullshit. Now, again, it's like where I don't know if like anyone's like really watching right now, or if they're even going to watch in the future. Like, just keep in mind, you can catch it live or Memorex. But like, I did want to like shout out like random people out there that have always been like cool, like Nodak and Chairman Meow, who I'm convinced is truly a cat that is like climbing up on a desk and like just going and like hitting like and stuff on all this Dabbleverse bullshit. And then we got like Pale Ale and Rudy. Is it Rudy Baggett? Because I ain't got my glasses on. I always want to just feel like it's Rudy Bags. Rudy just loves bags so much he made it part of his name. Now, I also don't know how long I'm going to go before I just run out of fucking steam. So, if any of my little friendlies are, in the chat or whatever, like, feel free to send me like a Twitter message if you did want to come on and like help me get through this hellhole day. Because my day started at like 4 a.m. and it's just not stopping. So I guess some other like weirdness I wanted to get into was like, all right, so like, as you know, I'm like a big fan of like DC and Harley Quinn and all that stuff. And like, if you didn't know, I'm going to show you here now while I show you my fit. Like, I got this cool Harley Quinn tattoo. I don't know if you can see it too good because of how far away I am. Please don't look at my feet if you're a dirty pervert. But like, I got that. Now, what that's from is from her Signal. Not Signal, but the symbol, the Harley Quinn, I just call it symbol, I guess, from the Suicide Squad movie. And what's cool is how I got it. You see, like the first time I got 5150, right? So like I'm in this lockup thing, and this dude in there, he's all like, hey, do you want to learn how to like, do a tattoo using an electric toothbrush? I was like, goddamn right, I sure as fucking do. So dude shows me how to like, take apart an electric toothbrush and turn it into a tattoo machine. And I thought, that's a great idea. I could save hundreds of dollars by doing this myself. So I got out and like, I was all like, I'm going to do this tattoo myself. So I did, and I got a horrific infection that I walked around with for like 2 months. It was absolute agony. But as a professional doctor, after you fight off such an infection, you gain all these antibodies. So I was basically invincible for like a full year straight, just from like throwing caution to the wind and just deciding to give myself, a cheap ass generic electric toothbrush, filthy tattoo by myself. And like some of the collars stayed, some of it's still there, some of it's scabbed off and died. But oh well. So, well, there's that. I thought that story would sound more entertaining in my head when I thought about it. It's like, maybe I should tell that story. Maybe I should tell it again later when I have like a guest or something and someone to bounce off of, because I don't really think I'm all that interesting by myself. I mean, I guess I'm interesting to look at and maybe how I sound, but that's about it. So like one of the other things that I was like wanting to kind of go into was like it's not, I don't really know how to segue or anything like that, but like I was doing Karmic's show, right? And that was a lot of fun. I had a ton of fun on there, and I'd love to do it again. But I know some people will be like, "You just want to do it again because you're chasing clout. You're chasing that sweet, sweet clout. You just gotta have it. Addicted to the moist clout." As it just infects your soul. But nah, I just like to have fun. So I guess what I was wanting to do with this like little stream deal, if I continue to do it, because this might just turn out to be like the worst shit show that's ever done. I just want, that's for the audio listeners. I just want to end up doing like just, I guess, conversation streams, kind of like how Joe Rogan used to describe his show. He just wants to sit down and talk to people. And I think it would be good because a lot of us are still weirdos that work from home because, like, you know, I've been working from home forever. You don't see me exactly fitting in an office somewhere, do you? No, not really. I wanted to get into, when I was talking to Carmen, like some of the corporate kind of the corporate bullshit that, you know, he might have went through while he was at his organization and the ones that I've been at, because like I remember I was at this one company, and it's a big company with tens of thousands of employees, and I'm in the human resources department, right? I know you're, you know, probably thinking, how? And I'm just going to tell you, it's one word: desperation. They needed to fill a body. They needed a body in a seat that could understand the English language, and I happened to be wandering by at the right time. So what I wanted to get into with him and see if he agreed with is like, did the company you work for, was it just full of nothing but middle managers? Like, I did mostly leave of absence. So guess what? If you were the person that was wanting to go on a leave of absence because you're like pregnant or whatever, you had to talk to my fucking ass. Now, leave of absence is a pretty straightforward position if you can, you know, get it at any organization that you're at. So I would suggest going for it. It was one of those jobs that, you know, that first month is the most confusing bullshit you've ever done in your life. But afterward, it's not so bad. The job itself is ridiculously boring. So don't worry. I'm not going to go into stories about that. But like, I reported to a middle manager whose only role seemed to be to sign off on my payroll and wait for someone to complain. See, what I called that company and other companies like it were accountability companies. Like, you just reported to a middle manager, basically just waited until you were till you either fucked up or someone just told you fucked up. So you would hear nothing. You would never get a kudos, good job, anything at all. It was just pitch black nothingness until one day it would be like someone would email you and be like, hey little doctor, did you forget to return blah 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 from their maternity leave? I'm like, no, I have not. It's like, they're saying they sent in their paperwork 6,000 times to be returned. I'm like, you have the same access to the shared inbox that I do. They have not, but I'm more than happy to. And they would report to another middle manager and so on and so forth. So you didn't have any kind of support or anything like that. You couldn't ask them any questions because they didn't have any answers, number one. And number two, they would get very mad that how dare you ask them any questions, because they were embarrassed that they didn't have the answers. So that was, I guess, my experience in bending a knee to the corporate mindset. And I did want to talk to Karmic about that and see if he had any experiences with just middle managers that didn't know shit, but goddamn, they couldn't wait to make themselves seem important by writing someone up. Now, after while I was doing that job, like I said, I didn't really have any stories about the actual job, but I the weird stuff that just generally seems to happen to me about once a week for my entire life. And there was one week in particular, like the nastiest thing I ever witnessed happen. So, like, okay, so I'm walking down the hall. Now, this was back in the in-person days, so this is many moons ago. I'm walking through the hallway, and I happen to look down just at the right time, and I fucking jump back. I'm like, oh, god damn, Jesus, titty fucking Christ, there's a fucking muffler on the ground. Now, you're probably wondering yourself, like, number one, why would I be freaked out by a muffler? And two, why would there be a muffler in an office building? Well, I'm not talking about like a muffler on a car. I'm talking about a muffler on a tube. Now, what that is this. And I apologize in advance to everybody. I'm going to tell a wrestling adjacent story. I know you have your choice in streaming platforms and where you can get it. It won't be long. I promise. If there's an uproar of the tens of thousands of people that I think will tune into this after the fact, just revolt, I'll go back into the digital file and I'll remove any reference to pro wrestling, I swear. But what a muffler is this. Overweight wrestlers back in the day, they had a hard time cleaning themselves. So what they would do is they would get like a roll of toilet paper and wrap it around their finger, and then they would jam it up their crack before they would put on their trunks so they could go out and have like a match or whatever. And where the name of it came from was from Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes had a match with John Nord, who, if anyone even knows who he is, he wrestled for WWF for a little while as the Berserker. Now, John Nord and Dusty Rhodes had a match one night. John Nord goes backstage and he sees the muffler for the first time and sees it getting put in. And Dusty Rhodes looks at him and he's like, hey, Big Johnny, do you need any help putting your muffler in? He was like, no, man, I'm clean. I don't need help with anything. But they're having a match that night. And fast forward to the finish. The finish was this. John Nord's finisher back then was what's called a stump puller pile driver. Now, I'm an amateur. I wish I could pull up like a video or something right now to show what it is. But basically, if you know what a pile driver is and you can picture it, instead of the arms going under the guy to where you can lift them up kind of like this, a stump puller is where you're like wedging the guy. You're like wedging the fucker as hard as you can, and you're going straight up and straight down. Obviously, the other guy's cooperating because we're not trying to pretend wrestling drill or anything. It was just basically a different way of doing the pile driver. That's how John Nord had to do it on Dusty Rhodes, because Dusty Rhodes was a fat motherfucker. He couldn't get his arms around him and clasp his hands. So the only way he could do it was by wedging the son of a bitch as hard as he could. So what ended up happening was this. He grunted and he's got to do it because that's the finish. The finish was the pile driver. Back then they were just like, no, we decided the finish was the pile driver. You can't win with something else. You can't win with a clothesline. It's got to be that goddamn pile driver. So he gets him up. He hits him. And as he hits him and he goes for the pin, Dusty Rhodes whispers at him. He goes, Big Johnny, my muffler came out. And he looks over as he's like got the pin, and he sees Dusty Rhodes' muffler rolling across the ring, and it is covered in blood and mucus. And the fans in the audience saw it, so they start screaming into the ring, hey, Dusty, your tampon fell out. And John Nord told this story in a couple of YouTube videos I wish I could pull up. But as I was walking back to my office, I clearly saw a muffler on the ground. And it was the most disgusting thing I'd ever seen with my real human eyes. It even had like hair and what I think was bacon in it. I wish I could have took a picture so I could horrify all of you. But yeah. So if you ever happen to be, milling around your neighbor's trash and you find someone's muffler, please send that in. Let me know in the comments if you would love to share any sort of muffler related stories yourself. Now, another thing that did happen at that job that I wanted to talk about too, but you know how I get. I just start rambling and I don't know where the fuck I'm going. While I was in HR, I also I had to be a witness to something that happened, and this video that just recently went a little viral was almost identical to the story I'm about to tell. So that's why I'm telling it right now, what's fresh in my head. Okay. So you might have seen this video already, but basically what happened to this dude and what happened to an employee that worked with me, this guy, he kept going to the break room every day, and every day he went to the break room to get his lunch out, someone would steal his goddamn chicken burrito every fucking day. And this guy had enough of it. So one day he comes to HR, and I had to deal with it because it was such a low priority thing. They were like, "Oh, we'll let you do it. This isn't exactly, we're going to keep the important people on the important bullshit. Leave of absence boy can do this." And so I take a statement. It's like, "Yeah, man. So every day, I put my lunch in the break room in the fridge, and every day I go get it, and someone goes through and they steal my chicken burrito." And I'm just thinking, this is ridiculous. How stupid. But I'm like, all right, so this is what we'll do. To make it easy to catch the guy that does it, do it again, but tomorrow, I don't know, like wrap it in like a red towel or something, some kind of red wrapper or something. That way it's like easy to pick up on the cameras, because there were cameras in the kitchen, but there was so much traffic in that kitchen, it was going to be hard to like figure out if anyone was stealing it or not. Because I mean, the cameras were fine and everything, but I guess you just had to be there. It would be about impossible to go, "Oh, there's that fucking burrito right there. That guy's got it." Well, okay, so he did. He like wrapped it, and I think it was a red wrapper from how I recall. And the next day, it was stolen again. So I got with security. We scrubbed through the footage, and we saw the culprit taking it, and it was a dude that not too many people liked. So it was a very, I don't know, it was very joyous, I guess is what I'm looking for. So we start going back, and we see, okay, the day before, that same dude, the chicken burrito bandit, we see him go to the fridge. He makes a withdrawal, but he never makes a deposit. Like, he never puts something in the fridge. He goes there and he takes the burrito, and the day before and the day before. So I mean, we've got this backlog of like weeks. This son of a bitch just target this motherfucker and is eating his goddamn burrito. And so we got I had to get with a different type of manager, and we called him in, and we were like, "Yeah, we got a tape we need to review with you real quick." And so we just showed the guy him stealing that goddamn thing, and then we got to term him right there on the spot, because part of the reason we had to talk to the guy was so security could go clean his shit out of his office, so he wouldn't have any reason to go back in. We wouldn't have let him anyway, but we just wanted to make sure after we got done talking to the guy and bought enough time that they could pack up his shit and have it in a box for him. So of course the guy was like, I'm sorry, I'll pay for it. It's like, that's not the point. The point ain't that you could pay for it, which this guy could have. And because he made like around six figures. He might have made a little over six figures. So he was just doing it to be a dick. No one liked this guy anyway. So we had our talk with him. Got his badge. Security came in with his box, and we got to say goodbye to the chicken burrito bandit. Case closed. You can thank me. Anyway. So there was that. Now, if I do these with any kind of regularity or whatever, I would hope that we get some, guests or whatever, because I only got so much steam before I just run out and get tired of this bullshit. So, a couple of other things. Let me just check my messages real quick. Oh, another thing that happened that I kind of wanted to go over one time that was pretty interesting. Now, this was a story that my old buddy Newt, who I've known forever from like not Dabbleverse shit, from other stuff that I don't even think he wants to bring up. It's just some prior friends that he used to have. He had this Sprite story, and I have one as well. It's pretty horrifying. Fresh out of high school, a couple of years, I have had like every worst job ever in the history of worst jobs. And one of those worst jobs ever was landscaping. So I just imagine, landscaping and, the Texas heat, over 100 degrees or whatever the fuck. And so we're doing this job back in the day, and this guy I worked with, like, he didn't drink, he didn't do any of the stuff normal people do with drinks, like keeping them in like one of these to keep them cold or whatever. What this guy would do, he would bring his Sprite and he would just throw it in the middle of the goddamn yard and let the fucking heat beat down on it. And I'm like, that's disgusting. And he was like, I prefer the taste of Sprite after the sun is beating down on it, over 100 degrees heat. And so one day this comes to a head, because what happened was this. He's like, hey dude, watch out. I'm going to go behind the house here where we were working and take a leak. I'm like, all right, I'll keep watch, make sure no one walks back there. And he comes back a little while later and he's like, I can't go. I cannot go to save my life. And I'm like, are you pee shy or something? That's what I thought at very first, because that's happened to me before. A side story to that. One time I made a trip from Virginia Beach, Virginia, all the way down to Myrtle Beach, and the whole trip there, I couldn't go. I used to be the worst pee shy on the planet. I stopped probably 6 times, and every time I stopped, I would go into whatever restroom and just couldn't go, because I was paranoid, like that guy from the movie Waiting, that some motherfucker is like peeking through like a crack in the door, trying to look at my cock while I'm taking a leak to fulfill some deep, dark, repulsive fantasy. And that's all I could think about. So every time I would stop, I wouldn't be able to go. And then it would hit me. It's like, man, I got a long fucking drive. I got to get back into that goddamn car. And so, long story short, when it comes to that, I stopped multiple times. I couldn't go multiple times. I was completely convinced, as crazy as it sounds, that everywhere I stopped were people listening, just wanting to hear another man piss and catch a glimpse of that pissing cock, that I could not go. But once I got to Virginia Beach and into my own, not Virginia Beach, but Myrtle Beach, and got into my own goddamn bathroom, I pissed so hard it sounded like frying bacon and eggs. And it went on for like 10 minutes. So I thought that was happening to this old dude for some reason. He was like, "Oh, why are you can't go? You're like pea shy." I was like, "Have you? Why don't you try like walking into the woods? Maybe if you get really fucking far away from everybody, you can go." And like he was like, "No, that's not it. I just can't go." And then I said, "It's like, well, maybe you need to drink more water. Just keep drinking more water." And he did. He couldn't go and couldn't go. So like work comes to the end. This dude ain't got a car or nothing. So like I drop him off at his girlfriend's house. Oh, and then I got told like one of the most horrifying stories of all time because it just scared the ever loving shit out of me, and I was just glad. It just made me think of all the times that this could have happened to me. So, dude, there's his girlfriend's house, and he's like, he tries to pee again. He said he even sat down on the toilet, and he's like grabbing onto the sides of like whatever he can grab on, and just pushing, and not a drop, not one drop would come out. So finally, he's embarrassed as shit because like we were very young, and you know how it is when you're like a teenager, you're embarrassed by absolutely everything. So like he goes to 911 and doesn't go to 911, he goes to the emergency room, and so he's in there and they finally get to him. He explains what's going on, and the doctors run some tests on him, and then they come back and they figured it out. It was like, well, what's happening in there is you have a high volume of floopity doopity, and then the doctor said basically it's basically like plastic in you. It's like, do you happen to, oh, I don't know, carelessly throw your Sprite bottle in the middle of a yard and let the sun beat down on it and then drink it? And he was like, yep. So they had to give him some medicine and basically do like almost like a miniature operation to like unclog his disgusting plastic piss hole so he could pee again. So that's I guess that's my warning tale to all of you. Is like, don't leave your pop in your car. Don't do any of that. Just keep it with you. Keep a little one of these if you have one handy, so you don't end up like old dude who is probably fucking dead by now. But hell if I know. Anyway, I guess one of the other things I wanted to bring up today was just I don't know. Oh my God, it fell off. Does the microphone still work? One of the other things I wanted to bring up is losing your train of thought and not being able to recover, which is what just happened to me just now. I've got problems. So, anywho, I think what I'm going to be doing today is, I'm already in the makeup, so I know people think, anyone that happens to watch this, that I might be clout chasing or whatever. But like, if you do need a guest today, I'm already painted up. Let me know. If not, I'm gonna wash my fucking face here in a minute and get me some goddamn Papa John's. I know I'm leading a very exciting like Friday evening. If you do happen to see this live or Memorex, I have a feeling if anyone watches it, there might be like rewinding it back to just start from the beginning. And I guess if anyone did watch that thing, I was going to be jumping up and down on my bed, acting completely crazy. Sorry to disappoint. It's a little hard to just do that by yourself. It's not as much fun. So yeah, if you see this, I don't know what's all those internet words you're supposed to hear. Yeah, like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you would like to talk about on the stream sometime. And if anyone wants to come on and have a conversation, because what I'm interested in is people's origin stories, like how you came into this world, I guess you could say, because I'm kind of basically talking these like Dabbleverse and Dabbleverse adjacent chatters and whatnot. So I'm interested in finding out like how you found out about this stuff, what you were interested in, what you started watching, yada yada yada. Because I mean, I guess I could say that. I mean, I'm not in a rush to get out of here or whatever. I mean, the super chat machine is drying up, but I guess like around 2019 or so, that's when I started. I just consider that my birth. Is when I started the Twitter account with the Dr. Harley Quinn name, because I just thought it was funny sounding like alliteration. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to use that. So I love the Harley Quinn character because she's right here. Jesus is Lord. All your dreams are dead. And so then we had then we had the cough of 2020 happen, right? And after the cough of 2020, we also had the summer of Floyd. So what were we? We were all stuck at fucking home, right? Now, for some of us like me, I like being stuck at home. I didn't ever want to go back into a fucking office again. I tell you that much. But you're at home, so you're starting to watch all the, I guess the usual suspect podcasts, because, can't really watch sports because there's no crowds and it takes you out of it. And I'm not into sports anyway. I just like wrestling. And so I couldn't sit through it. It was no fault of them. I mean, it's not their fault there was no crowds. But I just couldn't sit through it while all that was going on. So you turn the podcast, and like everybody, you start by watching Joe Rogan, and then you start getting to the connected tissue of the Joe Rogan verse, and you see Tom Segura, the Bad Friends shows. You just start kind of going down those like rabbit holes. But I kind of like the Your Mom's House about the best back then, because they seemed to me they were definitely the least woke. Now I don't know how they are today. I quit watching. I just decided I didn't like it anymore. But like how I came into all this, if this is interesting to anybody, was there was an episode where Shuley had just left Howard Stern, and he goes on to that show, and I thought that was an excellent interview. He came across to me very, very, very likable, and the stories that he was sharing with the person they call Blue Band. I don't know his real name or anything, but Blue Band, because they're both from like Jewish backgrounds or whatever. I thought those were hilarious. So I was like, man, this dude has the sense of humor that I fucking like. And so they advertise his like stream or whatever, and I start watching it. Now, I'm gonna admit, like everybody else, I mean that first year was pretty fucking rough. But it was funny though. I mean, I got a kick out of it. When he would have like Bob Levy or just certain guests on there, it would just be like fucking gold. And then and I still remember, it's like so far back. It was like, I guess it was 2021. I still remember some of those names of the people that were around back then. Like I remember, Lady KB being around back then. I remember that one guy that I think he used to be a Clipper, and I think he kind of just retired from all of this, because this stuff does get kind of shitty and boring after a while. But there was that My Lost Interest guy. And then finally, I guess Stuttering John, I'm the one telling the Shuley history. Don't rely on me to write his Wikipedia page. But so this is how I remember it. Like Stuttering John dunked on Shuley one time too many, and he couldn't really take it anymore. And he started doing Who Are These Podcasts? And then he did that show where he reviewed a Stuttering John's horrific stand-up set, and it was just it was gold. And it was like right after that, it seemed like that show was like off to the races. It went from being like, you know, there wasn't fucking many people watching live. I seem to recall it used to be like 20 people watching live. And then after he started reviewing those Stuttering John things, it got up to like 100 or so. Then that Mike Morse character, he started getting more involved in the show, and Bob Levy. Mike Morse did the theme song. I swear it was like once they did that theme song, they were truly off to the goddamn races. And this whole universe just kind of exploded out of nowhere. And that's when you start finding out about all these other characters. You know, when you start talking about things like the adjacent verse, like I never heard of Harry Caravello in my goddamn life until they showed Perry one day responding to a fake super chatter saying, "Oh, this is Stuttering John, you suck, Perry." And of course Perry rages at it or whatever. So you start watching those shows and all those adjacent shows, and you find out about all these like kind of random characters. And that's the stuff that I want to talk to like people about. It's like, how did you discover this random universe that no one should be in? And how it's like the same 5,000 people that watch like all these different shows, because it's the same names. You see the same names in all the different chats, which is cool because most of them are nice. And well, yeah, that was another thing. If anyone's watching this, I did, again, I just want to shout out all those cool people in this fucking Dabbleverse, because as far as I can tell, it's the nicest of them all. And if you've ever went into like some goddamn video game chat, like, oh, what's that guy's name, like Dr. Demento or some bullshit, that is the lowest level of absolute AIDS butthole herpy fucking hell that exists. There's no worse hell than going into like a fucking video game chat room. God damn, I would fucking wish that on my titty fucking worst enemy. Anywho, so yeah, I'm more interested in having, I don't have like a wish list of like of celebrities coming on here or anything like this. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But like even so, I'm more interested in finding out more about you dickhead chatters, just seeing where you come from, what details you feel comfortable sharing about yourself, and just I guess just getting to know more people, because it also for my own mental benefit, like when you've been kind of stuck inside because you made some silly mistakes in your life, and the pandemic and the summer of Floyd and all that other great shit that keeps you inside. It's just nice to get to kind of know some a more like-minded people, and that gives you a chance to like get your name and your face out there and all that. I think, what is the term I'm looking for? Like, I think it can be really reciprocal for everybody if more people start, doing more shows, because we're hitting like a saturation point where it's the same people doing the same shows, having the same conversation, watching the same videos, doing that goddamn play the video for a second, hit pause, comment about it, go around the room, and then hit play again, which I guess that's interesting. I mean, it's okay when you're in the thick of it. It's kind of interesting then, but like after the fact, it's like fucking post-nut clarity. It's like I can't even think. It's like I'm not watching another goddamn show where they play a video, hit pause, talk about what's on the screen. That fell. Oh my God, can you believe that, guys? The thing from the microphone fell. How humiliating. Oh my God. We will never be able to emotionally repair the damage of this awful incident. And yeah, so I guess that's it. I don't know. did this show suck or what? I warned every fucking one of you that this was not going to be good. And I really I know in my heart that there were some people that were like, he's going to go fucking live and he's going to set fire to the goddamn bed and just jump up and down on it. Listen, man, I took my fucking crazy pill, okay? I'm sorry. Next time I'll forget to take my crazy pill. I do want to shout out, if anyone's watching or if they care, I do want to again shout out the people that you took a chance having me on your shows. Obviously Karmic just recently, that was so much fun. I can't say enough about it. I hope more people have fun. I know it's a 6-hour show. You're not going to like every second of it. So again, I deeply apologize that I talked about wrestling for 11 minutes and 32 seconds. I will never do it again. I'm sorry, everyone. But if you can fast forward through that part and survive, I mean, it is a free show after all. That was a ton of fun. Obviously, Pat Dixon used to have me on a lot, like back in the day. That was fun. He didn't have to take a chance on having this fucking weirdo on there, but he did. And we always had some good conversations, I think. Nice Podcast Stupid had me on, and then of course, most recently, Clown Town. So I can't say enough good things about all these assholes. I mean, I know some people kind of roll their eyes because I like I said, I try to be Sweden or Switzerland. I just would rather get along with people. I don't see any point in feuding. Let the main eventers feud with one another. Let Shuley and MLC feud with one another. Let Zumach randomly try to feud with Karmic for some reason. Like, you drink on a stream. I used to drink on a stream. You ripped me off. That seemed like kind of a reach when I saw it. Karmic's show is what Karmic's show is. It's AI music, and it's him talking long form, much better than me, with a way better vocabulary than me. And yeah, he drinks on his stream, and it goes a little wild, but it is not like a direct ripoff of anyone else that has ever drank on a goddamn stream. So, I mean, that was definitely like a kind of like, man, I just got to feud with somebody. Who can I feud with? This new guy, Karmic. Come on, feud with him randomly. He's a threat. He's a goddamn threat. So I thought that was kind of funny. I'd be interested in knowing what, that's again, it's a topic I like to talk to other people about. It's like, you saw the clip. You saw him trying to pick a fight with Karmic. You saw him really trying to pick a fight with Karmic. Did you think it was forced? I thought it was really forced. I was like, yeah, But, like I say, all of these shows do the same thing over and over again and over and over again. And it gets, kind of boring or whatever. So, yeah. So, if this is worth a shit and I keep doing it, I'd like for some of you all, to come on, and we don't have to go 15 hours, but you also don't have to feel rushed either. It's like, if it's boring, fuck it. We'll just end it and go back to our goddamn lives. But if it's good, I say, let's talk and go forever. I just, like I've said on a few shows, I don't particularly enjoy the shows that try to say, we're only going to go exactly 1 hour and not 1 minute more. I'm like, man, I don't know why you're calling your shot like that. That's kind of shitty. It gives people anxiety. It's like, why are you even going to support a show if you think you got to beat a goddamn buzzer? Yeah, I think that's about all for me today. I don't know if anyone watched this live. I'll leave it up if anyone wants to come back and watch the the fucking replay. When this goes into syndication, watch the replay immediately after, like when you had the option of watching Monday Nitro again immediately after it went off. Well, you'll have that option here as well. And yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how to end this shit. So let's say this turns out to be a random success, right? And people want to watch this bullshit with me just kind of talking to myself and all this whatever. And maybe people want to come on. Maybe this is episode 1. Maybe this is like the Joe Rogan December 20th, 2009 episode where nobody really thought he knew what the hell he was doing. He's just staring directly into a laptop going, wow, that's a chat room. That's crazy. And then fast forward a couple of years later and the super chat machine's going crazy. And you all can keep me in makeup because I'm running out and I have to buy more. But anywho, I guess this was just fun. Just, yeah, talking to myself for an hour or however long this is. And, when you get a chance, please stop by, feed me a stray cat on your way to Dorsia. And I guess I'm going to end this now. So, I don't know why I do this. It's my way of saying goodbye. So, bye. Well, it would be bye if I could shut the goddamn thing off.